the number one fear is public speaking. Peace be upon you, it's Adam, and today we're going to get into the topic of fear and how to overcome it when it comes to putting yourself out there, public speaking, when it comes to working at work, relationships, and how it kind of stops us from really achieving our full potential. Now, when you're in that kind of mindset of fear, it's like, what if this thing doesn't go my way? What if this person does this? What if? It's a lot of what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And it's playing out scenarios in your head, right? It's like, what if this happens and that person? And then, oh my gosh, and it's overwhelming. It's oftentimes overwhelming because, fortunately, everything's a threat. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of doubt. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like the fear of uncertainty. Oh no, I don't know what's going to happen, right? And there's this paranoia, sometimes defensiveness, hard time trusting people, and that's really the themes of being in fear. But when you're able to actually take that and be like, smash that fear, that's powerful. Okay, so on one level, yes, there are tools to help yourself with this. All right, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share some of those on some of these levels right now. But on another level, you're also never going to fully get rid of the emotion of fear. It's natural. It's part of the human condition. But again, we're going to go into how to uncover certain layers. So we might recognize, on the media, the news, it's always feeding on fear and outrage, right? It's fear and outrage. What's happening in the world, all this chaos, all this nonsense that's happening. And that's really what it feeds to. This scandal, that scandal, but that's really getting lost in the sauce. Because what should you be doing as a person? You should be striving for the betterment of the world, right? That's what you should be doing at the end of the day. So how do you step out of, it's almost like a haze of fear. It's almost like, if you've seen the movie Batman Begins, there's like this fear gas and it like vaporizes into the air and everybody is now just stricken with fear. It's almost like that. It's like you're breathing it in and it's like the smog and you need like some big fans to go and just blow away this thick smoke because it's stopping you from achieving your full potential. And that's what it does a lot of the times. It's like fear is like this pair of glasses where it's like, whoop, okay, now the lens is like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to me? What if this happens? What if that happens? Overthinking, and it takes you away from opportunities that you could have actually gone through and went through, right? So it really impairs your vision and impairs your objectiveness as well, right? Your ability to actually see reality correctly, right? Which is super, super important. A lot of times, people will think that we're not in these states, and it's actually it's an emotional skill to actually understand these emotions that you're feeling, and be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling that. You're understanding that that's happening versus being like, no, I'm not an emotional person, blah, blah, blah. And we're humans. We're all emotional people. Okay, at the end of the day. It's just the question is, are we able to process these emotions properly, or are we not able to do that properly? Or are we able to love this experience of life and love everything that's happening, or are we just going to reject it? And we reject it, it's gonna have this pendulum effect. It's gonna come back at us. Okay? Just like if you stop paying your taxes, it's gonna bite you back one day, right? So this level of fear. Okay, there's what we call realistic fear, and then there's also what we call unrealistic fear. So realistic fear is like genuine fears, okay? Reasonable fears. For example, you're worried if, maybe you're near a dog that's been, that people have said that this dog has bitten people before, you have a genuine concern, right? Because you know the dog has bitten people before. You're a little cautious. That's good. That's healthy. That's gonna make sure you don't get bit by the by the dog, right? Similarly, if you're like falling off a cliff or you're near a cliff, you're gonna have fear and be like, oh, I'm not gonna go near that because you don't want to fall off, right? That's healthy. That's reasonable. Okay. Now, it's unhealthy when, for example, the number one fear, my friends, is public speaking. It's public speaking. It's speaking in front of crowds of people. What's going to happen realistically? Not much. Maybe if you don't do such a great job, they might feel bad for you. That's it. That's it. Maybe they go on their phone. That's the worst that's going to happen. So why do we have this like I can't do it? Or sometimes, we're fear of putting ourselves out there, right? Or the fear of actually being seen by other people, right? Sometimes when we just avoid eye contact, that's fear of being seen by other people. Okay, so we want to ask ourselves, is it real fear or unrealistic fear? Okay, that's a huge thing you can see, because here's the thing. Anytime in life, we're always looking for one thing. At the end of the day, we're always looking for peace. We're looking for peace. And it's really, life is about how we do that. So are you going to go towards drugs to try and find that? Are you going to go and try to work yourself out of it? Are you going to try meditation and yoga, right? Are you going to, what avenue, anything that you do, are you going to go and build houses? You're going to build houses because you like building houses and it's fun? Are you going to play your little video game? Are you going to eat food? Are you going to go and help people? And these are all ways that we try and satisfy that need within, right? But at the end of the day, the only true way you can have real peace and contentment, the true way of doing that is having that relationship with God, right? And purifying yourself with the most above everything else, right? The one that you can actually talk to, the highest authority, the all-knowing, the unseen, right? God, right? And when you're able to do that, you'll be more at ease. Okay, so when it comes to prayer, and really even just talking with God, right? Whatever the universe, the one, the creator. Why do you think people you feel like you get a burden off your chest when you talk to somebody, like, oh, I just need to get that off. Oh. But it's like, right? But you can come to God with your problems, right? Whatever you're going through. And if you're able to develop that muscle of opening up, right? You're going to have to open up to God. You have to open up to yourself and actually feel those emotions. And when you're able to do this, now I teach a lot of this in my programs, right? And I work with clients one-on-one, actually teaching them how the process to do this, right? Step by step, and guiding. Because here's the thing. People at different levels, they need different things, right? So knowledge is like, the book stuff, but actually wisdom, you actually can tell exactly when to give the right advice where. Because a lot of the time, people say, like, there's all these kind of diets out there. What's the best one for me? What's the best, how do I fitness? How do I train? Well, it depends on what your goals are. It's very customized. One thing that might be good for another person is not good for another person, right? What about your blood type, right? You want to maybe do a blood test to see what you're deficient in, what your body processes better. So that's why it's important to have an expert guiding you, right? But having fear is a normal thing. And here's the thing about life. You're always going to be tired. You're always going to be in fear. It's like, that's what it is. But like, is it going to be like light, or is it going to like weigh you down like this heavy thing? That's the question. Are you going to be like vibrant, full of life, like you're there, bang, bang, bang? Or is it going to be more the situation where you're kind of held back by these things? Okay? And what I want for you is I don't want you to be in that situation where you're held back by this, right? You're not able to actually benefit from the beauty and the bounty that God has blessed us with, right? So how do I get better at speaking? How do I actually deliver this in a way where it's like it's just me versus being trapped? Think about it. If I was afraid right now, I mean, I could definitely push through. That's one way to do it, right? And that's very good at certain levels as well. But you'd be able to tell. You're like, oh, kind of nervous. Oh, like your body will give little twitches and little things. And a lot of the times we have this fear because something happened in our childhood. For example, when you're speaking up, when you're using your voice, when you put yourself out there, when you try to do something, we're told we're not good enough, right? And because of that, we feel like, sometimes we're in constant danger, right? We get tense. It actually has physical manifestations in the body, which is crazy to think about, right? You have these physical manifestations of problems within the body because you're not, you haven't let go of something. It's been trapped there since childhood, and God keeps bringing it back. He keeps bringing it back and saying, hey, here you go. And you notice these patterns keep repeating themselves because he's trying to give you that opportunity to actually let go and learn the lesson. Because there's a lesson in all these things, right? And it shapes you. The scars that we have all shape us to be the person that we are. When you think of prophets like, Prophet Muhammad, he was in so much of pain and suffering, like at the beginning of his life, right? When, mother passed away, father passed away, mother passed away, uncle passed away. That's a lot of death. Close ones too. So that built him into he's a stronger man for it, right? So when you look at certain things, you could look at it as a blessing or as a curse, right? So that's why you always want to get bitter. Always look at the bright side and thank God. Thank God for what you actually have, right? Because if you're able to do that, then you can actually move forward. Okay, so now, you're trying to get over this fear. And again, the only way you're going to find that is through peace with God and being able to actually be vulnerable with yourself and God, with how you feel, processing that, and then letting it go. Because you can try all these other things. Trust me, you can try techniques, you can try, the 3-step countdown, all these different things, right? You can try cognitive behavioral therapy. You can try a lot of different things. Okay, I'll be honest with you. You could do that. But are you kind of trying for a Band-Aid solution? You have a little splinter and you're trying to put a Band-Aid on it? Or are you trying to actually go to the root, the deep cause, and actually heal the wound properly versus like having it heal with like the splinter still in it? If you move in the wrong way, it'll like go in more, cause more damage, right? Even though the Band-Aid's on top, it still hurts, and it's like you're just covering it up visually, right? So that doesn't really make much sense. There's the fire truck going by right now. Woo! Right? And our body gives little alarms like that to us, right? And our different emotions are little alarms that go through us. So at the end of the day, if you want to become a better speaker, you want to become, a better person in business, you want to become a better person at work, you want to have better relationships, Fear is a tool. Fear is a tool that we've been blessed to be given from God to actually experience this message of, hey, there's a threat, right? If we didn't have this, that would be a big problem. Now the thing is, we get triggered, right? We have a disproportionate response to reality when all these things just start to come up in an unrealistic manner, right? When we get afraid of things that realistically we shouldn't really be afraid of, right? So when you take that in, it's a blessing, and the way to work through that is building that relationship with God and really learning the emotional skills to actually identify, process, and heal those things through the process of letting go, right? And mindfulness as well. So I think that's super, super powerful. That's what I've seen. If you're interested in like permanent results, that's what you'd go for. All right. So once again, click the links below. I'm doing a free call as well, just to talk, just to coach you a little bit on improving, again, your communication in terms of your relationships, your wealth, right, and your higher purpose, and dawah as well. If you're trying to spread a message, you're trying to impact people, trying to spread a mission, and I'll see you on the free call because it's pretty transformational, right? Just click the link below, even if you're just thinking about it, and I'll see you. All right. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you, and take care.